was so very easy. My name is Laura, and there are so many different ways that we can embellish a quilt. We can add buttons and bows and zippers and beads, even extra fabric, so many different things. We can also add crystals and gems. I started with a quilt panel, and this quilt panel is from Timeless Treasures, and it has this beautiful silver throughout it. I've added 3 borders, a gold, a red and gold, and a white and silver, so that I have all the different metals and colors in. And I'm going to take this quilt that's already been quilted, and I'm going to add some gems and some crystals. I'm going to use a tool called a crystallizer. This tool comes with many little tips that get screwed on, and this is what's going to set some jewels and some crystals. The wand is going to get very hot, and it's going to have one of these tips on. So you'll take a tip that's the right size and you screw it on, and once it's heated up, you're going to be able to use it. Because I'm going to use different size ends for different size crystals that I have, I'm going to want a pair of pliers. That way I'm going to be able to take off that end just by gently holding it and untwisting it. Then I'm going to be able to add another size. If you're only going to be using one size at a time, you won't need to change your tips. It comes with this little stand that this is going to be able to sit on, but I prefer just to keep it in a jar when I'm using it. On each of these little ends, you're going to see numbers, and that's the size of the crystal that you're going to be able to use with this end. A lot of times your packages will have the number that's going to correspond with your little end, but there's a way to test it. The little crystal is going to fit inside that little end, and you can match it up and see that it's going to fit. There is also one that has a flat end to it, and that is going to do something that you don't have the size of. For example, the beautiful little square crystals or the teardrop crystals. Instead of working with the crystals out of the package, I like to put them on little saucers. By having them on saucers, I'm not going to lose them, but I will take each one of these and flip them so that the right side is up. The glue is going to go down onto the plate, and that's where the tweezers come in handy, so you can flip the jewels over. I like to match up the size of the crystal with the size of the tip and keep them together on those little saucers. That way, if I have a mixed selection, I don't have to worry about what size. I'm able to test all of my sizes before I even start. I keep them all on the saucer with the jewel side up and the glue side down. You could tell the glue because it sort of is a gray color. So I have 6 plates because I have 6 ends, and I'm going to be using a whole variety. You can get beautiful Swarovski crystals, but you can also just get metal and other things. These are going to look like little nail heads. I'm going to start with the red crystals. So I'm going to put the appropriate head and screw it onto the tool. And all you have to do is plug this tool in, and it's going to take about 2 minutes for this metal area or the wand to warm up. And that's why I like a jar. I can just place it in and wait for it to warm up. And I'm going to take some of my red crystals and put them right over top of the pre-printed panel. Once your wand is heated up, you're just going to be able to take and place them. You're going to use this tool in an upright position, not like a pen, but coming up and down. And just take that tip and put it right over top of one of those jewels. And you can hold it for about 2 or 3 seconds, just for enough time for that glue on the end of that crystal to warm up. Now I'm going to be able to take that and place it right where I want it. I'm going to use the up-down position and hold it for about 2 or 3 seconds. You just need a firm pressure, not too hard. Hold it for a couple of seconds and then lift up. This little jewel is going to be hot, but if you want, you can take your tweezers and just give it an extra push right into the fabric. Now I'm going to be able to go and get my next one. Just place it on, wait a couple of seconds, and then place that back down. In each of those ends, you're going to find a little slot. That slot is going to help you just in case one of the jewels gets stuck. I have my jewel inside, and I'm going to place it down. Once I've placed the jewel down, if I go to lift it up and I find the jewel is not coming out, you're going to be able to just take that little pin, put it through the slot, press down as you lift up. That's going to hold that down as it comes out. So I'm going to add my red Swarovski crystals throughout my panel. I want to change my jewel size, so I need to change the tip. There are two ways. You can just let your tool cool down and then manually undo that tip and put the new one up, or use a pair of pliers and just gently undo that tip. You have to remember that metal end is hot, but you still can just carefully just place that on, being careful not to touch it, and then finish it with the pliers. You will need to wait 2 or 3 minutes to get that tip hot. I want to take my teardrop Swarovski crystals and put them around one of my snowflakes. I don't have an end that is going to fit that, so I will be using the end that is flat. So I'll get to put my crystals on the fabric first. So I'm just going to place the crystal there and then take that one and I'm going to push down right in the center of that crystal. Just push down and hold a couple of seconds. That crystal is now on. You can place one at a time down or do a series and then go through and just hit them with the heat. I place my crystals all the way around. That gives me a chance to see if I like the way it's going to look. Now that I have them all set, I'm going to be able to just do one at a time. Push down and hold for a couple of seconds, and pushing firmly, that heat is going to transfer to that glue. Go to the next, and so on. The stockings are hung up with little nails, so I have these silver little nail heads, and they're going to go right over top of the nail heads, hanging up the stockings. So all the nail heads look like nail heads. And just continue to add all the crystals. I've put tiny little ones in between the branches, and now they look like little twinkling lights. And with that big wreath along the top, I've added crystals in between all of the green and in between each of the stars. So it looks like lights shining. And there's that big snowflake on the mantle. And I've added just a couple of little different red crystals of different sizes just to give it some sparkle. The nail heads are hanging up the stockings and a couple of red ones coming out of the basket. And now when this is hanging up, every time light hits those crystals, they're going to shine. You can add as many crystals as you'd like. It's sort of like a little black dress. How much jewelry are you going to put on it? Thank you for joining me today on Sew Very Easy. Feel free to subscribe, and as always, come on back. Let's see what we're sewing next time in the sewing room. Bye for now.